That would also mean that he's not the only one possessing Golden Freddy in the movie. Him having full control of the animatronic lines up with what we presented earlier. But is there any proof that there's a second spirit inside Golden Freddy in the movie? Well, throughout the movie, we get to see this drawing of the 5 missing children holding hands with Spring Bonnie. We've got Foxy, Chica, Freddy, Bonnie, and the blonde-haired Golden Freddy kid. But if you look closely, you can see that there's something different about the Golden Freddy kid. What's different is that his face was glued on top of another kid's face.
Oh my god!
Y'all, I know the names y'all be calling me, and I'm here to tell you that I understand. I be yapping. Now, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the yap hate do be warranted. Probably most of the time. Bruh. And I seen you, Tanya, in the comments. Always got my back, that's my dog. Tanya, stand up. Did you get up?
No.
But yeah, it's a few of y'all that sit patiently through the yap. Rob, stand up. Are you up?
No.
But I'm about to yap today. So you're gonna listen. Hey Vince, cue sad music. So, for years, I've somehow avoided seeing the best movie of my life. I have no clue how this movie has evaded me for decades. Decades. I'm an old man now. And I've just seen what's probably the best moving picture I've ever seen in my life. Interstellar.
Murphy's Law doesn't mean that something bad will happen. What it means is that whatever can happen will happen. And that sounded just fine with us.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I don't want to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. But... Alright, so the movie is set at a time where the earth is dying. And this widowed man with 2 kids has to leave his family behind in order to save the world and find them a new home. Y'all, I don't know why he did this, but I would have said, forget the earth. I'm just gonna chill with my kids until the earth dies. Because astronauts don't ever come back. Now, I'm not gonna explain the whole movie because it was a 3-hour movie, but they sent him through this wormhole. And they didn't know that time would work differently in the wormhole. So they got to this one planet, right? And this planet had nothing but water. Like, imagine you land on Earth and it ain't no land nowhere. It's just big oceans and waves. But that's besides the point. The real problem was every 1 hour on this planet is 7 years on Earth, or just outside of that planet. So 1 hour on that planet is 7 years not on that planet, if that makes sense.
No.
Man, when they got back to that ship, that might have been the closest I was to crying during that movie. Boy, they had left a crewmate on the ship, and he was like, I didn't believe you guys were coming back. I didn't want to just dream my life away. That's why I didn't stay in cryo sleep. It's been 23 years. I'm glad to see you guys. So mind you, their family members can send them recordings from Earth and like give them updates on their life and things like that. So when the main character gets back to the recordings after 23 years, boy, this was sad.
We've got years of messages stored.
Cooper.
Messages span 23 years.
Play it from the beginning.
Hey, Dad. Checking in, saying hi. Finished second in school. This currently still giving me C's, so pulled me down, but you know, second's not bad. Grandpa attended the ceremony. I met another girl, Dad. I really think this is the one. Name's Lois. It's her right there. Murphy stole Grandpa's car. She crashed it. She's okay though. Hey, Dad. Look at this. Your grandpa. His name's Jesse. I kind of wanted to call him Coop, but Lois says, maybe next time. But Donald says he's already earned the great part, so we just leave it at that. Shoulder.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Say bye-bye, Grandpa. Bye-bye, Grandpa. It's okay.
Sorry, it's been a while. It's, just... What with Jesse and all. Grandpa died last week. We buried him out in the back 40 next to Mom and Jesse. Which is where we would have buried you if you'd ever come back.
That was sad. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Vince, and today we are back with another horror film. And today we're gonna be reacting to FNAF, the clue that solves Golden Freddy. Now, this is about to be a big breakthrough for me because that's a big part of my confusion. I've got a little hints in there, here and there in the comments. What? But it never has been really clear. Everybody seems to be confused in my opinion. Some people say she got 3 souls. Some people say she got 2 souls inside her. Some people say it's the son in her, in Golden Freddy, and the daughter. Like, I don't get it. Bruh. So I'm assuming Golden Freddy plays a big role in this story. And I'm here to get to the bottom of it. So, let's go.
Golden Freddy has been a topic of debate for nearly 10 years now, and most of the debate has revolved around who possesses the animatronic and what makes them so special. There's been a lot of talk about this topic recently, so I thought I'd make a video detailing exactly what I think about Golden Freddy, featuring evidence that you may have never heard before. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. While researching for this video, I've once again realized that the order the game's released in matters, especially with Golden Freddy. Scott has gone on record saying that he likes to use new games to answer questions from past games, and that's very true when it comes to Golden Freddy. This is going to be a lot easier to understand if we go game by game, so let's make a timeline. In August of 2014, we were introduced to Golden Freddy in FNAF 1, and in that game, he appeared as almost a ghostly type figure, rarely appearing on the poster outside your door, in the hallway, or in your office, surrounded by the words, "It's me." When you stare at Golden Freddy for too long, he'll jump scare you, but his jump scare is not like the rest. Instead of a full-body 3D animated jump scare, you only see his head, and he crashes your game. Back in 2014, we knew with the context of the nightly phone calls and posters on the walls that kids were haunting the animatronics. Golden Freddy, though, clearly acted different from the rest.
He lost me. All right, so let me just do this. All the previous knowledge I had. Nah, bro, no. Apparently everything I knew already doesn't matter. Golden Freddy is not possessed by a kid.
What?
I thought that's the whole reason these animatronics are moving like that. I'm lost.
Golden Freddy, though, clearly acted different from the rest. So for some reason, he must have been special, but we didn't know why. Then, in November of 2014, Golden Freddy returned in FNAF 2, featuring a new design, but all of the same tricks. He once again could randomly appear in your office, his head could appear in the hallway, and if you stared at him for too long, you would once again get jump scared by his floating head. As far as the lore is concerned, FNAF 2 only heightened what we already knew about Golden Freddy. We knew that he was probably one of the missing children, and we knew that Scott was trying to emphasize that there was something different about Golden Freddy, but we still didn't know why he was different. In March of 2015, we got FNAF 3, and with it, a few more details surrounding Golden Freddy. A huge chunk of the game revolved around freeing the spirits of the missing children, especially the spirit possessing Golden Freddy. After completing all of the secret minigames and giving cake to all of the missing kids, you're able to free the spirit of Golden Freddy in the Happiest Day minigame. This once again establishes that the Golden Freddy Freddy kid was different for some reason. In the End of Night minigames, you get to play as each animatronic, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, with each minigame ending with Afton disassembling the animatronics. After the main 4 animatronics are disassembled, you play as a spirit. When you enter the safe room, it's revealed you're the 5th spirit, presumably the spirit who possesses Golden Freddy. While the other 4 spirits are blocking the door, the Golden Freddy spirit is once again being shown as different from the rest, seemingly coming off as more aggressive than the other spirits. The spirit chases Afton around the room, leading him to get into the Spring Bonnie suit and get spring locked. 3 games into the franchise, we knew that the Golden Freddy spirit was special, seemingly being the leader of the group, shown through the Happiest Day minigame and the Afton springlock scene, but we still didn't know why this was the case. Cut to July of 2015 when we got FNAF 4. Suddenly, Golden Freddy, aka Fredbear, was in the spotlight. In this game, we got a huge chunk of lore relating to the crying child, and the days leading up to him getting bit by Fredbear. At the time,
I gotta collect my thoughts. I got to. He talking fast. I'm trying to understand. This is like math class, bro. The teacher talking in lightning speed. I got my notes out. I'm trying to keep notes, keep tab, but I can't keep up following his words. He moving too quick. Stop! Golden Freddy is who?
Bear. At the time, this didn't really give us any concrete information about who possesses Golden Freddy, mostly because it wasn't immediately clear that the crying child was the spirit possessing Golden Freddy. The main way a kid went on to possess an animatronic in this series was Afton killing them and them getting stuffed into a suit. But the crying child was different. He wasn't killed by Afton. He was killed on accident and died later from his injuries, nowhere near the Fredbear suit. Because of this, the mystery of who possesses Golden Freddy as of the release of FNAF 4 was still up for debate. In January of 2016, we got FNAF World, and right when we booted up the game, we knew that this was a continuation of the story from FNAF 4. We see the same voice from the end of FNAF 4 saying the same thing: I will put you back together, insinuating that this game revolves around the crying child and putting him back together. So what does putting the crying child back together even mean? Well, throughout the game, you're instructed to find clocks, and with each clock you collect, you're put into a little minigame. These minigames mirror what we see in FNAF 3. These are directly connected to the minigames you had to complete to set up the Happiest Day and free the spirit inside Golden Freddy. The task to put the crying child back together was actually us setting up the Happiest Day minigame, therefore connecting the crying child to that minigame. FNAF 4 and FNAF World were all about showing us that the Golden Freddy kid in the Happiest Day minigame was the crying child. The next game where we got info about who specifically possesses Golden Freddy was FNAF 6 in December 2017. At the end of the game, we got an image of 6 gravestones: Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, Jeremy, one grave off to the side covered with grass, and one on the hill in the back. The graves with actual names on them represent the spirits inside the 4 main animatronics, matching almost perfectly with the FNAF 3 ending image. Freddy is Gabriel, Fritz is Foxy, Susie is Chica, and Jeremy is Bonnie. From what we've seen throughout the series, the spirits of Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and Golden Freddy are almost always grouped together. Using that logic, this mystery grave grouped with the main 4 would be Golden Freddy, and the grave in the back would presumably be the puppet, Charlie. The big question relating to this image is obviously, why is the Golden Freddy kid's name being kept a secret? At this point, because of FNAF 4 and FNAF World, we were pretty sure that the Golden Freddy kid was the crying child. Why not just reveal the crying child's name? Well, that brings us to the FNAF Survival Logbook, which was released literally 3 weeks after FNAF 6. This book was obviously supposed to be released alongside FNAF 6, and this is further proven by what the book was trying to tell us. It's revealed that the book was an old security logbook that once belonged to Michael Afton. It's established that Michael wrote in the book using red pen, so whenever we see a drawing or words written in red, we know it was him. But if you look closer, you can see that there's another entity talking in the book, speaking through the faded writing. They mostly ask a bunch of questions, such as, is this song familiar to you, and what can you see? But the most important thing they write is the words, my name. You can see this a few times throughout the book, but most notably, you can see it written on a gravestone that Michael drew. With this book being released so close to FNAF 6, Scott was clearly using it to give us the name of that 5th spirit, the Golden Freddy spirit. And you would think that the FNAF community, one of the most dedicated and lore-hungry communities on the planet, would figure this out in no time. But looking back, that was not the case. While researching for this video, I was reminded that it literally took 6 months for the community to find the name. Reddit user DPowerful1 figured out that if you use the random numbers...
Bro, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this lore, this path, is not a path I'm supposed to be going down on. Was that Morse code? I've never seen Morse code a day in my life. So it is Cassidy. All right, so Cassidy, that's the name. All right, we knew that, so a little bit of our previous knowledge is coming into play now. We know it was Cassidy. Now let's see where it gets tricky.
Figured out that if you use the random numbers scattered throughout the book and plug them into the word search, you get Cassidy.
How do you even figure
Cassidy
that
was
out?
the name of the kid inside Golden Freddy. And I think it's important to point out that Cassidy only writes the words "my name" on pages that give us the numbers to help find the name Cassidy, solidifying to me that the name Cassidy belongs to the spirit writing in faded text. But like I said earlier, Cassidy can be seen asking questions throughout the book, and someone does respond to those questions, but it's not Mike. It's a third entity speaking in the book. When Cassidy asks, "What do you see?" they respond, "I can't see," altering the text on the page. But a big question that reveals the identity of the third speaker is, does he still talk to you next to the Fredbear plush? And was your favorite childhood toy a plastic purple telephone? These questions are clearly telling us that the entity speaking through the altered text is the crying child. At this point, everyone was confused. The last few games were basically flat out telling us that the Golden Freddy spirit, especially in the Happiest Day minigame, was the crying child.
Maybe it is.
And now we've got this book telling us that there's another spirit named Cassidy who is also claiming to be the Golden Freddy spirit. We now have two kids claiming to be the spirit inside Golden Freddy. How can this work? Well, let's talk about Ultimate Custom Night, released in June of 2018, only 3 weeks after Cassidy's name was found. At this point, everyone in the series, including Afton, was burnt to the ground by Henry in FNAF 6.
Oh my gosh.
Henry tried to put an end to everything, but there's one spirit who wouldn't let William Afton rest. Enter the one you should not have killed. What we learned through all of the voice lines in the game is that this kid, the one you should not have killed, does not want William Afton to rest. He wants revenge, so he's keeping Afton trapped in an endless loop of death, forcing him to die over and over again. You can even see the face and hear the voice of the one you should not have killed throughout the game. His face shows up randomly in the death screens, and his voice can be heard through the mediocre melody animatronics.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
So who is the one you should not have killed? Well, I think the final cutscene of the game gives us that answer. If you get a score of at least 9,800, you unlock the final cutscene, where we see Golden Freddy twitching with both eyes lit, fading into the darkness. This lines up directly with what we learn about the one you should not have killed, a spirit that refuses to move on, who wants revenge on William Afton.
I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
To me, this heavily implies that the one you should not have killed is not only the spirit inside Golden Freddy, but Cassidy, the second spirit inside Golden Freddy.
How? How is that possible? How is that? Maybe he gonna explain it. Like, I just can't seem to grasp that concept. I don't get it. How are they both controlling the same animatronic that's cheating? It just don't make sense. Well, I guess it's been done before. Innard has like 3 souls in them, but I don't know. The only way this theory makes sense to me is if Cassidy was in the animatronic first, right? Cassidy was in the animatronic first. It still don't make sense, no!
Is not only the spirit inside Golden Freddy, but Cassidy, the second spirit inside Golden Freddy that we were introduced to in the logbook. Like I said earlier, Scott likes to use new games to answer questions from past games. Because of this, the order in which FNAF games and products are released is very important. In FNAF 6, Scott introduced a question: what is the name of the Golden Freddy kid? 3 weeks later, Scott released the survival logbook, where he gave us the answer. But even though we got that answer, the logbook introduced a few new questions. We know Cassidy isn't the crying child, so who are they? Why are they important? And how can there be 2 spirits claiming to be inside of one animatronic?
There it is, that's my question.
6 months after the logbook came out, we got Ultimate Custom Night, where we got the answers to those first 2 questions. All of that build up, from the mystery grave in FNAF 6, to finding Cassidy's name in the logbook, to figuring out that Cassidy is not the crying child, but a separate character also inside of Golden Freddy, all of that build up led us to Ultimate Custom Night, where where we see this new character take center stage as the one you should not have killed. But there's still one question left. There are two spirits claiming to be inside Golden Freddy, Cassidy the Vengeful Spirit and the Crying Child. How does that work? Well, a year and a half after Ultimate Custom Night, the Fazbear Frights books started coming out. And in these books, we got the story of the Stitch Wraith, an animatronic that contains the spirits of two kids, Andrew and Jake. Andrew is revealed to be a victim of William Afton, who is very vengeful and angry. Jake is revealed to be a kid who was not killed by William Afton, but died from a brain tumor surrounded by his plushie that had a walkie-talkie inside of it.
They're just writing stuff. They're just writing stuff, bro. He wasn't even near an animatronic and somehow still became an animatronic. He died next to a plushie.
What the hell is even that?
And now he's an animatronic demon. Come on, bro.
Died from a brain tumor surrounded by his plushie that had a walkie-talkie inside of it. This directly mirrors what we see with Cassidy and the Crying Child. Cassidy, the more vengeful spirit killed by William Afton, and the Crying Child, the one who wasn't killed by Afton but died from a brain injury,
Cassidy was
both
a girl.
possessing one animatronic. In the Stitch Wraith stories in the Fazbear Frights books, we hear a lot about the dynamic between Andrew and Jake. We learn that they both possess different parts of the animatronic. Andrew possesses the body while Jake possesses the head. Because Jake possesses the head, he is in control of the animatronic's movements and can see the outside world. Since Andrew possesses the body, he can't see anything or move the animatronic. What's also made clear is that they both don't remember very much about their past, and that they can talk to each other from inside the Stitch Wraith, with them mostly trying to figure out what they remember. If you haven't put it together yet, this is exactly what we see in the survival logbook. Cassidy and the Crying Child possessing the same animatronic, talking to each other, trying to figure out what they remember. Cassidy says, "What do you remember? Was your favorite childhood toy a plastic purple telephone?" But the most important question in the whole book is this. Cassidy says, "What do you see?" And the Crying Child responds, "I can't see."
So he got
this
the body.
exactly mirrors what we see with Andrew and Jake. Quote, "Hi Andrew," Jake said. "Why can't I see anything?" Andrew demanded. "How come you can see and I can't?" In the books, Andrew, the vengeful and angry spirit, possesses the body of the Stitch Wraith and can't see. And Jake, who isn't vengeful and wasn't killed by Afton, possesses the head and can see. What the logbook is telling us though is that in the games, it's the exact opposite. The Crying Child is the one who says he can't see, which means he is the one possessing the body of Golden Freddy, while Cassidy, the vengeful spirit, is the one possessing the head. It's not the Crying Child in control, it's the vengeful spirit Cassidy. The Crying Child is helpless. All he can do is try to reach out and tell his brother Michael that he's there too. It's me. It doesn't stop there, though. The Stitch Wraith story establishes that a spirit needs to remember or be put into one of their happiest memories in order to move on, aka their happiest day. Towards the end of the Stitch Wraith story, Jake is able to help a bunch of kids who were killed. He does this by essentially going back to their memory of being killed and changing it, making that terrible memory into a happy one. This allows the spirits to be at peace. How does this translate to the games? Well, this is exactly what the Happiest Day minigame is in FNAF 3. This minigame is showing us the Crying Child's happiest day. In the security logbook, there's a page that talks about the happiest day, where it specifically says in bold, "Reflect on the happiest day of your life," with an image of the puppet handing a cake to a child. If you do what it says and take the image of the Happiest Day minigame and reflect it, what do you see? The Crying Child's birthday party from FNAF 4 where he got bit. Like we established earlier, the main goal with FNAF World is to set up the Happiest Day minigame for the Crying Child. But have you ever stopped to question why we have to collect clocks in order to do this? It's because we are literally going back to that terrible memory of the Crying Child getting bit and changing it, making it so that in his mind, that terrible day was a great one. People have pointed out throughout the years that the map of FNAF World looks like a brain.
Y'all are psychopaths. Wow. Okay, that sounded bad. Not you in particular. Oh! Stop looking at me like that. I'm talking about the people that figure this out. You're crazy. No way they put all the maps together from the different games or game modes and realized it looks like a brain. Bruh. How are y'all figuring this out? As a developer, a game developer, I wouldn't even think to do some crazy stuff like this because I would just assume that no one figures this out.
The map of FNAF World looks like a brain. This is because we are literally in the mind of the crying child, metaphorically going back in time in his mind and changing the memory of that terrible day, turning it into a happy one and helping him be able to move on. So far, we've learned that in the games, there are potentially two spirits inside Golden Freddy, Cassidy the vengeful spirit and the crying child. In the logbook, we see them communicating for the first time, trying to figure out what each other remembers about their past. In the logbook, the crying child says that he can't see. Using what we know from the Stitch Wraith stories and the Fazbear Frights books, the crying child is possessing the body of Golden Freddy, while Cassidy is possessing the head. Cassidy is the one in full control of the Golden Freddy animatronic. Oddly enough, this almost lines up perfectly with what we see in the FNAF movie. Speaking of the FNAF movie, after the FNAF movie came out, Matthew Lillard spoke in an interview where he basically said that the movies are meant to help fill in the blanks of the story in the games.
Frankly, our job in that movie is to deliver lore, but so much of the game is like fans have for so long filled in the blanks, and our job is to fill in where we can and what Scott and Emma thinks appropriate.
And I think that's especially true for Golden Freddy. The Golden Freddy kid is clearly established to be the leader of the group and is in full control of the Golden Freddy animatronic. If everything I've presented in this video is true, that would make this kid Cassidy, our vengeful spirit from the
Cassidy is a boy.
And if you look at the picture of the vengeful spirit in the games next to the Golden Freddy kid in the movie, they are nearly identical. But if this kid is our Cassidy stand-in, that would also mean that he's not the only one possessing Golden Freddy in the movie. Him having full control of the animatronic lines up with what we presented earlier. But is there any proof that there's a second spirit inside Golden Freddy in the movie? Well, throughout the movie, we get to see this drawing of the 5 missing children holding hands with Spring Bonnie. We've got Foxy, Chica, Freddy, Bonnie, and the blonde-haired Golden Freddy kid. But if you look closely, you can see that there's something different about the Golden Freddy kid. What's different is that his face was glued on top of another kid's face.
Oh my god! No, I saw this movie. Like 3 times. I would have never noticed that. How did you even see that? They're watching these movies with magnifying glasses like this. Oh, is that a file in the corner? Genius from the writers and genius for whoever even noticed that. Y'all are wild.
What's different is that his face was glued on top of another kid's face. There's another kid possessing Golden Freddy, being suppressed and overpowered by the blonde kid, just like we see in the books and just like what I think we're seeing in the games. Who is the other kid inside Golden Freddy in the movie? I think it might actually be Garrett, Michael's younger brother. And just like in the games, Michael's younger brother is helpless and not in control of Golden Freddy. All he can do is try to reach out in any way he can, trying to let his brother know that he's here too. It's me. Changing people's bad memories and making them good memories is something we see in the books and the games. And I think Scott was trying to strengthen this idea in the movie. The Golden Freddy kid is able to go into Mike's dream and change his memory of the day his brother was taken. But instead of doing this for good, he does this to trick Mike into giving up his younger sister, Abby. The movie then ends with Afton getting spring-locked and being locked away. In the minigame version of this from FNAF 3, the Golden Freddy spirit is seen as the leader of the pack and the more aggressive one. And I think the movie only strengthened that idea, with the final scene being Cassidy closing the door on Afton as he's getting spring-locked. I think it's important to encourage you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions, because a lot of conclusions depend on how you interpret certain evidence. For example, a lot of people think that this little girl in the survival logbook is Cassidy, but I don't think that's the case. If this is supposed to be representing the happiest day minigame, that minigame, in my opinion, clearly has everything to do with the crying child and nothing to do with Cassidy.
Okay. Alright, so that's where the confusion came from. I was informed that Golden Freddy was a girl, that Cassidy was a girl. They keep calling... I don't want to mess up anybody's pronouns.
What?
I'm canceled.
Yes.
But some people say it's a girl, and some people say it's a boy. And I don't know. I really don't know how to feel. I kind of like his theory better. It's a little more lore satisfying to me. I don't know. It's just, I'm intrigued more from his theory. Maybe because nobody explained the theory about Golden Freddy being a girl. I don't know.
Day minigame, that minigame in my opinion clearly has everything to do with the crying child and nothing to do with Cassidy. As much as I want this drawing to mean something, I don't think it does. Also, a lot of people think that the character of Andrew is an actual character in the games and is the one you should not have killed, not Cassidy. And I think people are valid for thinking that. I'm not gonna say that the story of the Stitch Wraith is the same as the story of Golden Freddy. There are differences. But I do think that those stories are more meant to help us better understand how Golden Freddy works in the games. You can interpret things however you want. That's what makes theorizing fun. Also, big shout out to MatPat, because I really do think you were on the right track with your video from 2020. This video was also written and filmed before the release of Into the Pit, and I haven't really decided how that's changed my opinion on Golden Freddy, but as of right now, my opinion really hasn't changed. Make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. He killed that video. Perfect. Like, genuinely, every time I got a lore problem, I might just come to him. He was spitting straight facts and backed it up with evidence. I didn't even know the lore ran that deep, which is dumb of me. I should have just assumed it did because the story is crazy. It like go this way, that way, up, down, left. But yeah, I think I'm getting into a few more videos and I'm gonna be a genius like the people taking Don't Storm the movies. I'm gonna be like, hey, that doesn't match the source material. No! But final thoughts and questions, I guess. There's only one question I have left about Golden Freddy. It seems like the rest is just supposed to be left up for interpretation, but the one question I have is, what's his relation to Afton? Did I miss that part? Was he one of the kids Afton killed and stuffed in Golden Freddy? And then Golden Freddy as Cassidy killed the crying boy? Like, that's where I don't understand it at. Like, that's where it gets a little hazy. I don't get that part because was the other animatronics eating kids? Or were they just killing adults? I don't know. So y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Do you have your own theory? Do you agree with his theory? Let me know something down below. And y'all know, if you enjoyed the video too much to subscribe, you know, with 20,000 subscribers. And hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. It could just make sense to the like button if you like the video. No. So I'm a yapper. How about we change your theory on that? Good boy.